Cryptocurrency. We all have heard about this term. Everyone at one point in their life had thought of investing in it, but it can very easily be used to scam millions of people for billions of dollars. But what is crypto, and how did a man scam people of billions of dollars? Well, crypto is a digital asset. There is no physical form or value of it. It lives in the blockchain and as such is decentralized. What does that mean? It means that there is no single authority that can make decisions and regulate the currency. With this simple explanation, it might be hard to understand. How is it that millions of people get scammed with crypto so easily? Well, today we will discuss maybe one of the biggest scammers in this space and how he did it. How a man in his 20s who wore baggy clothes to any meetings, slept in his office, became one of the youngest billionaire and fooled the world. This is the story of Sam Bankman-Fried. Sam Bankman-Fried was a genius from the start. He attended Canada Math Camp, which is a summer program for mathematically talented high school students. He even did his graduation from MIT with a bachelor's in physics and minor in maths. Not only that, his whole family, the people who he surrounded himself with, were people with incredible minds. His parents were both teachers in Stanford Law School, Barbara Fried and Joseph Bankman. His grandmother was a musicologist and his aunt was the dean of Columbia University Mailman School of Public Health. From a very young age, he was regarded as a genius. He also wanted to make a difference in the world, participating in events for public welfare. Although many people know him from his business ventures, it would be this particular feeling of wanting to make the world a better place that was the seed of his wrongdoings. From the very start, he liked living a very simple life. Even when he became a billionaire, he wore simple baggy clothes, drove a Toyota, arrived in meetings with hair that looked like he got a 1000-volt electric shock. But till the very end, he had only one goal in his mind: make as much money as possible and donate it to as many people in need as possible. He started out as a normal young person with big dreams. He had his internship at Jane Street Capital, which is a trading firm trading international ETFs or exchange trade fund in 2013. This is not very relevant to the story, but the company mainly was a trading company. During his internship period, his bosses were very impressed with him. They saw his potential, and so after Sam graduated from MIT, Jane Street Capital hired him as a full-time employee in September of 2017, not long before he started his infamous company, FTX. However, Sam was not happy. He was not satisfied with the work he was doing. As I said, from a very young age, he wanted to change the world. He wanted to do something that would benefit the masses. And so he left his high-paying job in search of something he didn't even know existed yet. Even his colleagues were confused at his decision. After leaving Jane Street, he started working at the Center of Effective Altruism in Berkeley, California. The main belief of the altruists was not to work for charities and welfare groups to benefit the people, but the complete opposite. It was to earn enough money working for private companies or owning businesses to be able to donate that money to charities. Sam was hooked at this idea. He wanted to help people and he also wanted to make money. And when an organization says that you could do both, he went for it. He worked at the center as the director of development from October to November. In that short period of time, he met many influential people who were also altruists. One of them was a billionaire, mostly known for his major investments in Skype, John Tallinn. He met John and other investors like Luke Ding and secured an initial funding to open up a new company called Alameda Research, along with Tara Hadley. This was it. This was his first step to becoming crowned as the genius that would save the world, the genius youngster who could make a difference. Alameda Research was a cryptocurrency trading firm. The name Research was odd for a trading company, but it was deliberate. Most of the employees of the company were altruists who met with Sam during his time in the center. Almost all of them had no knowledge in trading or crypto. Knowing this, no investors would give out their bank account to the company for trading, so he meticulously named the company Research to avoid scrutiny. But that was not illegal, neither was it kept a very big secret. But the same cannot be said for how the company operated and profited. Prior to 2017, Sam had no real interest in crypto and he mainly stayed away from it. But in 2017, Bitcoin exploded. Everyone and their mother knew about Bitcoin. Celebrities were getting into it. Influencers, YouTubers, everyone was going crazy.
Basically, buying one Bitcoin right now is like buying a bit of land in Manhattan.
Sam also wanted a piece of it. He thought that this market was the best to secure huge sums of money But the problem was none of the employees were that much educated on crypto. He himself was not very into the market. But there was one loophole that he found that would make the company millions of dollars in profit. In 2017 and 18, crypto was being sold all around the world through cryptocurrency exchanges. Going through many of these exchanges, we found out that there were some disparities between the prices of crypto in the US and in Japan. The prices of crypto were much higher in Japan, but exchanges didn't allow people or company to sell to other countries. There has to be someone from that company for it to be done. And because of the connections Alameda founders had from the center, they easily found someone from Japan. Through them, they bought crypto from the US and sold them at a much higher price in Japan. It is estimated that they made around $15 to $30 million with this method. But soon their price disparities caught up, and in 2018 the prices of crypto more or less became the same throughout the world. This was a problem for the company, but Sam was still hopeful. Although Alameda research made Sam rich beyond what he imagined, he still wanted more. He still believed that he could get more out of crypto. He thought that crypto was the way to make huge amounts of money and fame in as little time as possible. So in 2019, he opened up a company that would give him all that he wanted. He opened up Future Exchange, also most commonly known as FTX. This company would give him everything he wanted and more. FTX was a crypto exchange. During that time, Binance was the leading cryptocurrency exchange, but strangely enough, its CEO, Changpeng Zhao, invested in FTX, its rival company, while also acquiring a 20% stake of it. This 20% was speculated to be bought around $100 million. But a big disaster was looming right around the corner. The pandemic would cause chaos around the world. The cryptocurrencies would receive a massive hit. While the price of Bitcoin went to $13,500 in 2018, it dropped to around $3,500 in 2019. All the exchanges were struggling to survive during this crash. Many of them went out of business. But strangely enough, FTX survived. Despite being a very new player in the market, it not only survived but thrived. It was so successful that it brought out many of these bankrupt companies to keep them alive. This must mean that they had to amass enough capital to be this much ahead of any competition. In 2020, they acquired Blockfolio, which is a portfolio tracking app, for $150 million. Sam also bought out Binance CEO's share for $2 billion in 2021. During the same time, the venture raised over $900 million for an $18 billion valuation from over 60 investors. This included SoftBank, Sequoia Capital, and other venture firms. Along with all the investments in the cryptocurrency market, they also ventured into the gaming market as well. They invested in Team Solomid, more popularly known as TSM, enough to exchange their name from TSM to TSM FTX. The American Airlines Arena, the home of Miami Heat, had their name changed to FTX Arena. They also invested in athletes for advertisements, including Stephen Curry or Steph Curry. They also had Tom Brady for their campaign. Even Kevin O'Reilly, one of the sharks in the famous show Shark Tank, became an ambassador for FTX. The main selling point for this exchange were its cheap rates and also being safe. Being safe was the major concern for any exchanges. That was the main reason why Binance was banned in the UK and many other countries. FTX had no such problems. In 2022, FTX had plans for creating a gaming division which would allow developers to add crypto, NFTs, and other blockchain-related assets in the video games. They had made many other investments which made the world believe that Sam could do no wrong. Even when the companies were going down, Sam would come from the shadows and save them from their impending doom. He was called the JP Morgan of the crypto space. He was the savior, as many would say.
Certain companies, and you were called the JP Morgan of crypto.
Yep.
Did that bother you, or did not?
It doesn't bother me too much. I mean, I think it's something I felt was the right thing for the industry. And, you know, our very explicit mandate that we sort of gave to the team of people working on this was, your goal is not to make a fortune.
A young man with a simple life, giving away millions to charities, saving companies and jobs. He was at the peak of his life, but little did he know that an email from an anonymous person would destroy his whole legacy. Alameda Research was a trading company for crypto, and for that they needed an exchange. But wait, FTX was an exchange. That would be very convenient for them. It was noted by Bloomberg that Alameda Research was the major depositor for stablecoins for the exchange and was serving as the market maker for the company. People were speculating that Alameda was getting special treatments from FTX. But Sam and FTX came forward with a statement that both the companies operated separately and there was no separate treatment for anyone. On November 2, 2022, CoinDesk published a report where they showed data from a leaked Alameda balance sheet. There, they reported that Alameda held over $14 billion of assets, and most of it was FTT tokens, the tokens that FTX listed back in 2019. Caroline Ellison, the then CEO of Alameda Research, posted a tweet where she said that the balance sheet was not complete and said that there were more assets for the company which were not FTX tokens. This escalated when Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao said that they were going to sell millions of dollars worth of FTT tokens. He said that due to the recent events that came to light was the reason that they were selling the tokens. This sparked a mass withdrawal of the tokens from investors. Within a few days, the token lost almost 80% of its value. FTX was in shambles. They were worried that they had no more liquid assets for more withdrawals. Seeing this, Binance thought of becoming the savior by entering into a non-binding agreement to buy out FTX. But during the following days, Bloomberg said in their article that this agreement would fall out due to FTX's poor finances and their current situation. FTX was also being investigated by the Securities and Exchange Commission and Commodity Futures Trading Commission at the same time. And on November 9th, Wall Street Journal reported that Binance would not be moving forward with the deal. By this point, the company and Sam were just hanging on by a thread. Everything was falling apart. They had no money, all of their assets were losing value, and they were not getting the funds that they wanted to keep them afloat. On November 10th, Sam said that Alameda Research will cease all of its operations. Their legal team had almost completely resigned. An anonymous source told the Wall Street Journal that Alameda had a loan of about $10 billion taken from FTX to make investments. On November 12, Wall Street Journal reported that an anonymous source cited that the CEO of Alameda, Caroline Ellison, told some of her employees that her, along with Sam, Gary Wang, the co-founder of FTX, and Nishad Singh, the director of engineering for FTX, knew about the deal with Alameda and FTX. She also said that the money was being used to pay off loans, which Alameda had taken to make investments. But why is a loan from one company to another bad? That is because FTX used the customer's money to fund the loan. They transferred the money to Alameda to make risky bets, which might end up making huge profits, which might end up solving their liquidity problem. On November 11, Sam Bankman-Fried resigned as the CEO, and FTX and Alameda finally filed for bankruptcy. But that is not where the story ends. Later that day, Rain Miller, the general counsel of FTX US, said that $473 million was missing. He termed it as an unauthorized transaction. The funds taken from FTX were in the form of stablecoins like Tether and later converted into Ether, a move commonly made by crypto thieves to prevent any attempts to retrieve the stolen goods. In January 2024, the US, the Department of Justice, indicted 3 individuals for running a SIM swap scam operation that allegedly stole over $400 million in virtual currency from an unspecified company. Sources told Bloomberg that the company was FTX. And finally, in December of 2022, Sam was arrested by the Royal Bahamas Police Force at his house in the Bahamas with the expectation that he would be extradited to the US for trials. He was charged with wire fraud conspiracy, security fraud conspiracy, and money laundering. And that is how it all ended for the once so-called JP Morgan of the crypto industry.